No.
Can you see me?
No, I can hear you though.
Do you see me?
I just see your face, like your icon. Camera.
Okay, there we
Oh,
go. Let me see if I'm doing this right. Okay, there. Oh, they can't put an.
it's got like a camera
I
with a
know
circle.
because I put it on the video here.
It says
There we go.
I can invite you to turn on your camera in 45 seconds. Hey, hi. So many people are coming. Mm-mm-mm. Afternoon, Calgary. Hey, there you are. I can see you now. Oh,
Can you?
hello.
I see you like you're the full screen, and then I see
Okay.
me in the corner here.
Yeah, I was like that. I clicked a button that did. Be patient with us, folks. I have no idea what I'm doing. Maybe I was supposed to
I have
co-host.
no idea what I'm doing.
I don't know. Seems to be working. There's a host button and a guest button. I don't know which one I'm supposed to do. Okay. No, you're there. At least you're there.
Does that mean everybody can hear me now?
Believe so.
I honestly don't know how this
Yeah, I think
works.
everybody can hear you. Okay. 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 Well, I don't know. Hi everyone.
Neither do I.
We're just gonna give it a minute here. See if we can, get some viewers going there, and then we'll just get started. I pressed a button in the bottom right corner that like stuck me up at the top.
Does everybody see me?
Yeah, I think so. You're good.
There we go. Now I see my full screen and you in the corner.
Oh, I see. Nobody put Steve in the corner. Dirty dancing. What?
Hi, everyone.
All right. I think people are starting to show up here. We'll give it a couple of minutes. It's only 8:01 before you get rolling.
Oh, I can't even spell.
There are people coming. All right. Let's say if we can get to 20, we'll get started. How's that? We're at 11. There, I've got pinned up a goal. I don't know what I'm doing, but it says my race to get 5 subscribers. Something about a flower. I have no idea. I have 4 hours and I'm going to run out of time. Help me. I don't even know what that is. 14
I'm going to
peeps.
hit the heart to join your team.
Sure.
Maybe that'll help do something. I don't know.
Oh, I got a heart. Watch out.
Welcome to the team. You here? Yeah, that means I joined your team.
Okay.
Now, how do I get rid of the screen?
At least we're nailing it like we're true professionals. All right, 19.
Oh man, what a... I'm sorry.
It's all good. It's all good. Don't even worry about it. We're just gonna do the best we can.
I'm sorry. I don't even.
We're not here for the hearts and the stickers. We're here for the community and the supporting each other and the stories. So I don't know, Danielle, if you can prop up your phone or something. You're gonna give me vertigo. Oh, she paused us. Oh, hello. Maybe you can prop up your phone.
I didn't pause. No.
Oh yeah, you're okay. Maybe prop that up somewhere because I feel like I'm in your dryer, going in a circle.
My dryer? No.
Yeah, the phone's shaking so bad.
I don't have good lighting here though.
Okay, well at least we got our priorities right. I have my phone leaning on. I have my phone leaning on some bananas. So there, perfect. Perfect. Yeah, that's good. I don't do well with the eye teaming. Doesn't work properly since my accident. So okay, there's 20. All right, let's get started. So I'm Steve. I'm Men Thrive Daily. I'm a car accident survivor from 2020. I got hit on the highway and ended up 5 lanes away, backwards, blacked out. And then the guy drove off into the swamp and then ran out of his car, ran off in the woods and left me there. I've got 4 kids. I've had to adjust to that, and it's been a challenge. So missing purpose and not being able to do all the things I'd planned on, I figured I would try to start some things to help the community. And among other things, this is one of the things I just started a few weeks ago, is a sort of I go to a brain injury support group every Wednesday on Zoom. and it might be 10 to 20 people every week. And I figured, why don't we try that on TikTok? So here we are, and I'm figuring it out as I go. We're far from professionals, and so we thought Thursdays at 7 Eastern we'd start trying to interview guests, because I have over 370,000 views now in like 3 weeks. So there's clearly a connection in the audience, in the comments, in the followers, in the community. So stage fright, terrifying, and I can't even make eye contact with the camera. Here we are, because I think it's much more important to. I'll take the risks and I'll deal with that. I'm already sweating, like my hands are clammy, but it's okay. So yeah, so here's our first show. I realize it says Men Thrive Daily, but like I say, nobody gets left behind. So feel free to come along. And here's our first guest, Danielle. I'll let you introduce yourself, tell your story.
Hi, I'm Danielle. I am also a fellow car accident survivor, but my car accident wasn't as recent as Steve. Mine was June 29th, 1997. So it'll be 28 years in June. But it still affects me to this day. To this day. And my accident happened on a highway, just like Steve. But I don't know if anyone is from Canada and is aware of the highways in Ontario, but they're really bad. Especially Highway 400, which is the highway we were on, and a spare tire came out of nowhere, and it got caught under the leaf springs of our truck, flipped us over, and we just slid from the hood, the top part of the truck, and we slid all the way through the roof, and slid all the way, and then it was like there was flames and stuff coming up. And apparently, the little small window in the back of the truck is where I flew out of. I did have my seatbelt on, but because I'm such a tiny person, at that time I was only 100 pounds. I'm only 5'2". The impact was so strong that it threw me out, and it almost ripped off my arms. And so when the truck settled. Sorry, I'm nervous.
No,
when the truck settled, I was thrown 60 feet. And everything I'm telling you, I don't remember. It's what I've been told by the OPP and the people who saw the accident. So when the OPP arrived, they actually drove in the same lane we did 2 minutes prior, and there was no tire. And they told me that not even Dale Earnhardt could outmaneuver that tire. It came out so fast. So at the car accident scene, my fiance at the time was stuck in there because we had a Chevy S10 Super Sport truck. It's a smaller truck, not as big as a Dodge Ram. And so when he was upside down, he I guess he was instantly paralyzed, but he was able to talk and everything. And so when the paramedics got there, they thought that he was the only one there. He kept screaming my name, Danielle, Danielle, Danielle. And there's no one there. There's no one there. So when the police officer, Derek Boyd, he saved my life. I owe my life to him. He decided to do a perimeter search. And 60 feet away, he heard a rustling in the grass, and that was me. And I was covered from head to toe in blood. Like, he said it looked like a murder scene. And at that point, they thought I was going to die because I was losing so much blood, and that Shane was coherent, talking, and that he was going to die. But it ended up happening that Shane had the steering wheel embedded in his chest, which was stopping the internal bleeding. Then with the jaws of life, when they took that out, it all started. And then he died a couple of times, you know, and they bring him back with a shot.
Yeah. Yeah.
They brought him back a few times, but then he went asystole, and then after that, you can't be brought back. So he was pronounced dead at the hospital. But we were brought to the nearest hospital. He was pronounced dead there, and that's where I had several blood transfusions.
Yep.
And then I was airlifted from there to St. Michael's Hospital in Toronto, which is one of the hospitals in Canada for traumatic orthopedic injuries.
Yep. Yep.
And that's where I had like, I don't know, 16 hours surgery. Yeah.
Crazy.
And I broke almost everything in my body.
Yeah, yeah.
And,
Okay, being injected.
Yeah, like my lungs collapsed, broke my neck. Yeah. And they put me on life support. I had the chest tubes and the ventilator, and they put me in a coma for 4 days, and they told my mom and my sister and my family the next 24 to 48 hours will determine whether she lives or dies.
Yep. And
so I can't even imagine what my family went through.
Yeah, and are you remembering?
Pardon?
Are you remembering around then? Like when you think back, when do you start remembering? After the coma? After the?
I have one memory of my mom giving me a thumbs up, and my mom said before they wheeled me into surgery again, my mom said it's okay, Danielle, and give me a thumbs up. That's the only memory before like everything like before the surgery happened, and then the next memory I have is a couple of days later.
Okay. And how did it go after that? Like once you went through the coma and you come to after the surgeries, what happened next? Were you stuck in the hospital for a while? Home or?
Oh yeah. Amazingly, I was only in the hospital for a month. I was in trauma ICU for 10 days, 4 of them in a coma and on life support. The only reason why the doctor let me home is because my mom is an educational assistant. She works with handicapped people.
Mm-hmm.
So she knows how to do everything that a nurse would do.
Yep.
And so the doctor let me go home with all the medical equipment, and I had a nurse come in every day, therapist. Yeah. But it was really, really hard.
I can't imagine. It's just like it's such a like traumatizing event, you know, and to lose your fiance and go through all that as well. Like it's one thing to try to manage your injuries, right? And you know, you've had all kinds of other complicated losses, and like you say, immediately we think about the burden on our family and the people around us, right? Because you go from being super independent maybe to being, you know,
baby.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's awful. I hated it. I hated depending. Like I had to have my mother bathe me, and it's horrible.
Yeah.
Like I couldn't move.
Were you able to walk? No.
Pardon?
So was it a while before you were able to walk and get around?
Yeah, it took me about a year. I was in a wheelchair for about a year and a half. And then I had to learn how to walk again. They told my mom, we don't know if she's going to walk again, and we don't think she's going to have kids.
Yeah.
But the doctors aren't always right. So
yeah, because you got one or two kids now, eh?
Well, I think 4 kids, so yeah, the doctors are wrong. Yeah.
It's wild. So
do you have
the last because the guy that pulled out in front of me, I could think he was trying to end his life. And so I dodged him one way and he kept pulling, so I swung the other way and he U-turned and hit me. And the last thing that I remember is like locking up on the steering wheel and just like seeing his bumper coming in the front, like in my periphery, seeing it come into the windshield, and that's it. And the next thing is the squealing. I thought it was like a fan belt. I heard squealing. I couldn't see a thing because 7 of the airbags went off, but they all went off on the passenger side because I got hit on the other side. So none of mine went off. Like the one on the steering wheel did, but the rest I hit with the door and everything else. And I just heard squealing and I couldn't see. So I thought it was my car, so I shut off my car. I didn't even know what was going on. And I turned off my car, thinking it was a fan belt or something. You know, I obviously was in an accident. And then I could still hear it, so I got out, and it was his tires spinning as he was driving away. Like it was, and his whole car was crumpled on the front, just incredibly drunk. Oh yeah. When the police came, they're like, I'm in the East Coast, and one thing that always stuck with me is that people here really like help out each other a lot. You know, they wave to each other and that. It's like a small town everywhere you go. And I'm in Cape Breton, which is like the small town of the Maritimes, like PEI, like everybody's just real friendly. And people were stopped immediately, right? And because what happened to me, like he drove off And I saw him get out, and he looked back at me, and I was like, okay, perfect, I can ID him. And then my legs gave out, and I just kind of fell in, shock. And people started to come, right? And then all of a sudden, I don't know who they were. I've never met them or seen them again, but two like monster, like bouncer looking dudes. There was all kinds of people. Oh, I'm a nurse, I'm a paramedic, and all these people are there to help. There's cars parked all over the place to help. And these two huge dudes come up, and I'm like, yeah. And they're like, where's the other driver? And I'm like, he ran off in the bush, like that direction. They go, he did what? And off they went, trekking through the woods to go find him. I was like, the police better find that guy first. It's like, I still totally remember that. But I had all kinds of problems immediately. For me, it was like when the paramedics came on scene, I like didn't know how, like I didn't know my age, things like that. They asked me how old I was. I was like, oh, I'm 34. And then 2 or 3 questions later, I was like, oh, hang on a minute, I'm 38. Like I was just in this weird. Yeah, but I was in like a fog. Like I couldn't. It was almost like it was like listening to a TV in another room, like trying to hear. Like it was almost like I was separated from, and I was like trying to, like I don't know. It was strange.
It felt like in a call too.
Yeah,
like it felt like I was hearing.
Yeah.
But I couldn't talk. I couldn't talk, but I could hear everyone talking around me. It was so weird.
Yeah, like a real weird kind of disconnect. It's almost like you're at a separate speed from the rest of life. Like you're on like you're in slow motion and everything else is happening. And like, I still have that kind of happening now, but but back then it was really acute. And it was like, almost like being in like a gel, like being in a pool of jello, and I'm like trying to move, and it's like everybody else seems to be going fine. I'm like, why? It's been a self-discovery road. There has been quite a change. So what happened? Too. Yeah, what happened with you? So a year and a half goes by, you get out of the wheelchair, then what happens?
Yeah, and, I'm still not right, because I had to have scar revision surgery, which was hell on earth. My scars were like that thick, they were keloid, and they were that wide.
Wow.
And so that was hard. I had to have neck surgery and nerve surgery 6 months after the accident.
Yep.
And so I had surgery after surgery after surgery. So I didn't have time to like catch up.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then it just sucked because I had to rely on my parents and my sister.
Yeah. You feel dependent.
The person, I don't want someone giving me a shower. I don't want someone like having me up from the bed to the couch. To this day, it just aggravates me so much.
Yeah, because it makes you feel weak.
Yes.
I was 38. I know you were younger than I was, but it was the same thing. And I had those conversations in my head saying, like, if I was 70 and this happened, it may be okay. But I'm at the midlife. You know what I mean? It's like I had kids. You know what I mean? I got to be there. And for me, it was like I had a doctor, a family doctor. I'd only met her once. Like she had just taken me as a patient, and she was on maternity leave. So I self-prescribed, and I was going to like 10 appointments a week, like you said, with the surgery. And I probably did that for 18 months. They have a Section B, they call it. So it's like $50,000 worth of care that's covered for insurance. And I guess most people don't use it. I used all of mine in 18 months. It's like a record. My law firm said I have the biggest personal injury file they've ever seen. So I was just trying to get better, right? I was saying yes to everything and going as often as I could. And then I finally got to the acquired brain injury clinic, which you'd think someone along the way would recommend. But my wife found it Googling on the internet when we were out of options, and everybody had burned through all your money, all these terrible care providers, because it's kind of a racket. And the first thing she said, she goes, the nurse practitioner goes, the first thing she said, the only thing I remember her saying in the visits stuck with me was, if you had been here right away, you'd be in better shape today, because you spent the last 18 months going to all these appointments and burned yourself out and you didn't rest. And it was like, how ironic in a really terrible joke kind of way that trying hard to get better made me worse. Oh, it's been it's been a long road of like it's hard to describe. I think it's a lot of things that people maybe never prepared for. I find that discovery a lot. I find it's like I never expected
Like
this scenario, you know?
a lot of people say to me, "Oh, that's not going to happen to me," and it makes me so angry when they say that because I'm proof it can happen to you.
Correct.
My kids, especially and their friends, "Oh, that's not going to happen to me, Mom." I'm like, it can
Right.
happen in an instant.
Yeah.
Never say it can't happen, and it will.
Yeah, well, I mean,
And then
it's like it's Russian roulette. It's a lottery, you know? Like I took nursing when I was in my 20s, early 20s, and I had seen a patient that broke his neck diving in a lake, and it's like he was 21 or something. He was quadriplegic, and it was like I was about 21. I think he was the same age as me, and I grew up with a swimming pool, in the deep end and then the shallow end, and there's always that slope, and I have hit that thing, and I can hear my neck go from whacking it, like from diving into it as a kid. And then I turned 21 or whatever, 22 or whatever I was, and it's like, here's a guy who had one unlucky jump, and he's a quadriplegic for the rest of his life. And it's like, I did that 20 times. The fact that I didn't end up like that is just luck. I didn't do anything right or different or just luck. Could have been me, just the same.
it is
But,
luck.
yep,
It is just luck.
yep. Like you
I
said,
get mad at
it's because they don't know,
I
right?
on a Sunday. I was supposed to work on the Monday.
Yep,
The only reason why we left Molson Park Ferry was because I had to work several hours later,
yep,
where we would have spent the night in the car. And I told my therapist, I said, it's my fault the accident happened because we had to leave for me to go to work. And the doctor goes, that's not how it works.
correct. It's
It's
not how it
not
works.
because it was meant to happen. It was meant to happen. It would have happened at a different time. So you
Well,
having to work overtime had nothing to do with the accident.
correct.
But to me, I take blame for it.
Yeah, of course you do. Of course you do. But logically, you understand it's not your fault. Emotionally, you can't help but feel that guilt, right? Like it could have been if you'd have stayed, a tree could have collapsed on your tent. You know what I mean? It could have been woulda, coulda, shoulda. You know what I mean? Bad things can happen if you're doing nothing, and bad things can happen if you're doing something. And if you change your mind, and it's like what is it? Is it the Adjustment Bureau? The guy leaves 5 minutes late, and then he meets the girl, or he doesn't meet the girl because that's he spilled his coffee and changed his shirt, and his entire life changed. The whole pathway. It's like the butterfly effect. You have no idea. You have no idea. And I mean,
It doesn't end there. Like after the accident and you recover physically, no
yeah,
one realizes that it's the mental and emotional recovery that's the hardest in the whole entire world.
correct. And I noticed that too. The trajectories are different. Like the bruises went away in a couple of months for me. Like I was black up my arms and stuff because I'm 6'4", so I got in a Hyundai Elantra. I got crushed in the car because it's a tiny car, and it's like
Yeah.
6 months, all the bruises and stuff are gone. But the brain injuries, I didn't even. I found out about injuries 3 years later that I had no idea I even had. Like hyperacusia. I had so much happening. Like I had migraines for 8 months, round the clock, 24 hours a day, until I ended up getting Botox in my neck, and I had vertigo, and I had like incredible light sensitivity. I still have, but it was like there's so many things. I didn't even realize I had vertigo because I was a disaster. And then it's like I think I was 2 years into it, and I saw a neural optometrist, and she's like, "Does it like when the kids?" I was like, "The kids play and they shriek," and I'm just like, "It's like physically painful." She's like, "That's hyperacusia. You're hypersensitive to sound." Or the fork on the plate. I'm like, it's like, because I can't manage. I can't manage.
I didn't know there was a thing for that.
Yeah,
And I get
yes,
migraines like 25 out of 30 days a month. I have migraines. And
yeah,
like I wasn't officially diagnosed with a head injury, but
yeah,
I did hit my head. Like I have a nice big bald spot right here.
yeah,
And the doctor, anytime you hit your head and you get it, it's automatically you get a concussion when it's that traumatic.
yeah.
But they tested me and said there was no loss of brain function. Like, but that done. The
I watched.
neurosurgeon told me
There's a.
that I get headache,
Yep.
vertigo, like you do, and the sound. Oh,
Joe Rogan had a guy on that talked about non-contact concussions. Football players in the NFL stopping so hard the brain shakes and gives themselves a concussion. They don't touch anybody just from slamming on the brakes in cleats. So it's like if that can happen, what's going to happen at 100 on the highway? You know what I mean? It's like it's
I'm
incredible.
surprised I didn't have a brain injury because, like I had all cuts and bruises all over my face,
Yeah.
but this wound on the back of my head is that big,
Yeah.
and I have no hair growing there.
Yeah. There's probably some changes, but you were young, eh? So.
And then the neck is like the worst because it connects you from the top to the bottom.
Yeah. I find it causes a lot of like referral. Like if my neck gets sore, then I'll end up, hunched like this, which makes my back hurt, or like somebody, an ortho, I think it was an ortho, explained it to me one time, and he took the letter blocks the kids play with, like the wooden blocks with the letters on them, and he stacks like 6 of them or something, and he goes, these are your ankles, and then so he moves it and goes, these are your knees, and so the stack goes like this, so then he pulls, and this is your hip, because in order for the stack to stay standing, the blocks have to like balance the weight, right? And he goes, that's exactly how it happens. Your neck moves out a bit, so your shoulders have to go over this way a bit. So your hips go this way a bit, and then it's like, and then your tower stays standing, but it's like, it's like, oh my God, what a simple analogy. Each joint compensates for the weight sharing. It's like, no wonder, like I still go to chiro. I still have all kinds of treatment now. What's that?
It's amazing how our bodies work.
Yeah.
Like my orthopedic surgeon said to me, based on your injury, you should have died.
Yes.
But he said because I was young and I had family around and I was a fighter, that's the reason why I survived.
100%. 100%. That and the police officer.
You know what? He's amazing, and he's actually in Nova Scotia.
Oh yeah.
Now.
Awesome.
Yeah, he now the head of detectives.
Okay.
In Nova Scotia. I saw him a year ago, and he was crying. And I told him, I have a picture of my desk at home. I have a picture of the newspaper article, and then I have a picture of him now. And I keep it there. And I told him he's my hero and that I would love him forever. And he was just bawling. And I'm like, I love that man so much. I don't get to see. But if it weren't for him, I wouldn't be here today.
Yep.
No one would have found me. I would have bled to death in the field.
Correct. And what do you say? Thanks. There's not like how do you?
I told him many times, and I love you. I just can't. And I told him how much I have love and respect for the police, and that if a lot of people talk crap about police over the pigs, I never do because I know one of them saved my life. I cannot talk crap about them, and he really appreciated it.
Yeah, 100%. So, I'm the same. Sorry.
Accent. Do you find that has it changed you, like the way you react to things, like as a father per se?
I don't think there's an aspect of my life that wasn't changed. Everything from my plans to my personality. I get frustrated more easily, but I'm probably more protective. Maybe I don't let the kids take as many risks. Like, take it easy, guys. Kind of like you said, it could happen to you. So you're like, maybe a little bit of a helicopter parent indirectly. You don't want to be, but so there's lots. I have all kinds of problems. We'll talk about me another time. I have lots of problems. Memory, multitasking.
I find my accident, I'm a happy, calm person, and nothing really bugged me. But today, for instance, is a proof of how bad my accident has affected me.
Yeah.
Simplest, dumbest thing had me in a murderous rage.
Mm-hmm.
I went to the local post office today because they're holding me because the snowplow knocked it over. Yeah. When I got there, I knew I was expecting a package from France, and they told me, we have no mail for you. A week's worth, but there was no mail. So I was like spitting nails. I came home and I tried to contact them. There's no phone number for Canada Post. And I thought, okay, I'm going to call Canada Post ahead they have to have the numbers for the locations. No, they don't. Everything's AI.
Ever. No,
So
yeah,
I
yeah,
was
yeah.
in a murder. I said to my husband, I said, I'm going to grab one of your guns and I'm about to go down to the post
Hey,
office and put it on
no,
and find my package. I was
no.
that angry.
How good of a package is it?
And before the accident, I don't know, my rage is so bad.
I
I was
think
never going to take a
it's
gun there, but
no, no. I think what it is, it's there's a book I read called Ghost in My Brain. The Ghost in My Brain. It's in my Linktree store. It got recommended to me by that neural optometrist because that's kind of the treatment that they do, like prism glasses and light therapy, and there's like a bed thing. It's where I got my weighted blanket. All these kind of like a mix between Eastern and Western sort of thing, like a bit of holistic and a bit, you know what I mean, like a bit, kind of a little bit of each. There's definitely science, but there's also some other things that are, and I mean, I found it very effective, changed my life. But I'm not trying to say anything bad. It's just different. And she recommended this book, and in that book, I don't know if you saw the video I did about the batteries and having like 3 levels of batteries. And if like one battery is like for me, it's kind of like physical. So like if I was to like shovel gravel, that would be one battery. But if I could shovel, like I mean, without the accent, but like if I shoveled all day long and I got wiped out, I could still come in and have a conversation and do math. Or if you did too much of that, you could still go out burnt out and just like do some meatball kind of physical work. And then there's like this third battery that's kind of like an emergency. So like even if you're like a reserve, even if you're like wiped out and you had a long day or you went to work and you're exhausted, and then a deer jumps out on the road, you can still like snap that emergency battery kicks in even when you know what I mean. And it was like if you burned out the first battery, it recharges the quickest, and if you burned out the battery 2, you couldn't recharge 1 until battery 2 got filled up. And then, so battery 2 might take a week, and then battery 1 will get and it's like when we got married, it was Thanksgiving the year before last, and 2023, and it took me 5 months to recover from driving 5 hours to the wedding and managing the kids and standing in the sun and 1,000 things and invites and music and food and all these, just all of that wiped me out. It took 5 months, and after 5 months, I'm like, maybe I'm just in the red zone, and you just need. And she laughed, and my wife laughed, and I sat on the couch for like 4 days, and then it was like I started to put some juice back in the level 2 battery, and then all of a sudden like normal kind of coming around, and it's like it's a great book for kind of understanding that.
I'm at 1 battery today.
Yeah.
Like I don't know what the hell came over me, but my mind wasn't right, and I just flipped right into rage. And even my son said, "Mom, are you insane?
Yeah.
Like you're overreacting. It's just a package. It's just mail." And I had to basically I had to take a lorazepam to calm down.
Yeah.
That's how bad it was today.
That's what I was getting at. Maybe that's what my start was. Maybe the
My mind just
the battery is tapped. Maybe maybe let's call that the level 2 battery. So you're just living on the first level battery day to day, and this one's tapped out, and it would take like a week off to recharge it, and then you'd be good for a while, as long as you don't burn it out. Like they drew a chart for me that was like a standard deviation chart. So like just a curve, and it was like green, yellow, and then red is the very top, and that was like your symptoms. So like they'd say like go for a walk and stay out of the red. Like if it's like your symptoms are 1 or 2 or 3 in the green, 4, 5, 6, whatever. Try not to get into the red. So that's what I always called it, the red zone, because that was like, and like things will happen maybe that battery's tapped out, and now you don't have that emotional battery to manage that stress. That if you could, let's say you could go to Jamaica for a week and lay on the beach and literally do nothing, no phone, no nothing, and put some juice back in that battery, then you'd come back and then go back to living on the normal battery, but you'd have that battery to pull from, so that when your post office loses your mail, you can better. That's how I feel. I feel like I end up in a scenario where I'm just not like, I never use the word overwhelmed because it gives people the wrong impression that I'm sad or something. I say overstimulated. I get overstimulated. So like what'll happen for me is like, let's say like after this, or my Zoom meetings on Wednesdays or something like that, like some taxing, emotional, stressful event sort of thing. When I go to carry the kids upstairs, I, as a defense mechanism, my balance goes. I lean on the wall with my shoulder, and I walk up leaning on the wall because I've got one hand on a bottle. Yeah, I got one hand on a bottle, one hand on a baby, and I can't. It's too many. It's like a sliding scale. If I add a task, I lose a task. So it's like I just out of the habit, I just lean on the wall. That way, I don't drop the bottle or drop. I'm not gonna drop the baby. Yep. But other days there. Yeah, my oldest is only 6.
Yeah, my oldest is 23 and my youngest is 11. But not all of them live with me.
Yeah, yeah.
But I mean, I'm lucky. I think I'm going through the worst of it now, mentally. Physically was when my kids were younger. It was harder. Yeah. But I think mentally, emotionally, now that I'm older and they're older, I'm finding it harder emotionally and mentally now.
Yeah, well, it's also that you adapt physically. Like one of the things that caught my attention, we got blackout curtains, like opaque curtains, so that the sunlight doesn't come in. So it's always like a dungeon, my poor children. And then I noticed, this was about a year after the accident, or maybe a little longer, maybe a year and a half. But I noticed, I walk up to the thing to open the curtain, and I wince, and I hadn't even touched the cloth yet. And right away, I was like, my brain's reacting to the light that hasn't even hit me yet. It's like a defense mechanism. I'm trying to protect myself before I even. And it's like, holy moly, there's something there. There's some sort. So, like you say, you're gonna heal, right? Your trajectory and then you'll plateau, and that you're done healing physically, kind of, right? Like, I mean, maybe there's really, really, really slow progression or something, but you kind of get to that point, and then your body defense mechanisms, everything else. Right, like my light sensitivity never went away, but my brain stopped looking at the light, or automatically would sit on one side of the table that the window's behind me, and it's like I don't even. It's like a subconscious decision that it protects me like that. So I don't notice how. That's why I said there's all kinds of injuries that I didn't know. I found out years later because my brain was protecting me the whole time, and it's like no wonder I was exhausted all day every day. My brain's playing defense.
Like we just said, your brain does something to protect you, because if you knew your brain was saying, it would destroy you.
Yeah,
that's why your brain doesn't protect you, and that's why I will never have memories of my accident. She said, never.
Yeah,
your brain is protecting you, and your brain is protecting you from whatever it is that you can't handle.
Yeah, 100%, and that's what I'm saying. So. Like you don't even realize, like when I go to Cairo, my chiropractor, the bed's hard as a rock, right? It's like a piece of plywood with a piece of leather on it, and life isn't like that, you know. Like if I wrestle with the kids, I'm on the carpet and stuff, but my body is like let's say I got pain in my back, it's in the center, but like I'll instinctually lay on a bit of a twist on a rib so that I'm not on my spine. But when I go to Cairo, he makes me lay flat, and I'm like. He's like, how you doing today? I'm like, not bad, but as good as usual. And then I lay down on something hard. I'm like, holy, I can't even get straight now. And I'm like, and you don't even know that I'm that sore. I haven't felt that in a week, but it's like as soon as you force your body out of the protective state, the crooked hunchback in Notre Dame there. Once you straighten that body out and relax a bit, you're like, oh my god, I'm sore everywhere. It's like, it sucks.
Like, do you live in constant pain, like physical pain?
Yeah. It's like a background noise at a restaurant or something. It's just there. You get used to it. Me too. And you kind of stop hearing it, but it's still there.
Control the pain, but I don't take it. Right? I only take it if I'm crying and I can't move. Then I'll take it. But like I've learned to live with the pain, and like everyone says to me, "How do you live with pain 24 hours a day and just be normal?" I'm like. I've had 27 years of doing it.
Yeah.
It becomes natural.
It's still there just the same. You just don't notice it as much, right? Like you don't. It still hurts as much, but you just don't pay as much attention. Like you can get distracted by it easier or something. Like it's still there, but you just don't pay attention to it. Like I said, it's like it always makes me think of like the radio on in a restaurant or something. the dishwasher guys listen to the radio, and after you're there the first day, you're like, holy moly, that's loud. But by week 2, you don't even know the radio's on. It just kind of gets tuned out, but it's still on the whole time, So it's like
that's a good one.
one thing that I'll try to throw in here, just because I hope it helps people. One thing that was tough, you asked about changes and after the accident. That was one thing that was a big one for me. Is it normal though when you have triggered anger? I think so. I think that I'm impatient. I'm quite impatient. I try though. I've broken about 3 of my teeth that are split because I clenched so hard I've cracked my teeth. Like the dentist put the black light behind it and you see like a line. Yeah. Yeah.
No, but triggered anger is supposedly normal after what we've been through.
Yeah.
I see a therapist because my anger sometimes is so out of control that it scares like my kids. Yeah. And that's when I say I go psycho mode, you know? And so
my first thought, honestly, my first thought is it isn't the anger, because if it was, it would be there steady. It's more, it seems to me more like there are days you can manage it less. Like if it's always there consistent and some days you have no battery, it's going to go whack out of control. Like that. I think.
Anger, but with pain.
I'm not sure what she means.
Nothing triggers always there.
Yeah.
Like if I do something stupid and fall, then the pain gets much worse. But the pain is always there. It just gets worse when I do, like, something happens. So I don't have a trigger for my pain. It's just
like, are you trying, Amanda, are you trying to say like you get angry when you get overstimulated? Is that what you mean? Or you get angry because you're in pain or when you're in pain? I think for us, it's more of a steady baseline pain that's kind of always the same. Like tinnitus. I have tinnitus also. I know that's pretty hard for people, but it's like, I don't know. If I cover my ears, I always hear it. It's just there. A bell in my ear.
Maybe she's saying you tend to be more angry and irritable. I know for me, like if the pain's really, really bad, I can be really nasty.
Yeah, don't you want to talk to people?
Is at the point where I need to. Yeah, I don't want to be near people. I just want, like, I get angry, really, really angry. So maybe, I hope that's what you mean, Amanda.
I think so. But, I kind of get the same. I get for me, it's like a cliff, and it's like as my battery, as I go in the red zone, I like my balance goes off and all these things. But it's like I'll be more and more easily frustrated, and all of a sudden it's like I'll fall asleep in the middle of the floor. Like I'll get to the point where I'm like I can't even hold up my head, and the kids want to play, and I just like I give them a toy, whatever, and I lay down and I fall asleep right in the middle of the living room floor in the 2 p.m. And then you talk to like a occupational therapist, and they're like, "Have you ever tried resting for 15 minutes before reading a book?" It's like my eyes are like this, googly-eyed. They don't read the words at the same time. It whacks my brain out. Like I can rest all I want. It's like this is not, Some people get it and some people don't, I guess. I don't know. It's hard. Like I said, I've had 56 or 57 care providers. So I've had everything you can think of. I've gone audiology and naturopaths and you name it. But it's cost a fortune. But okay.
Medical file, but the side, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, and then
see, what doctor do you have? I'm like, list you all the doctors, because even I don't remember them all.
Yeah, correct. And it's like
all the procedures.
And people look.
Amanda says I'm requesting.
I don't know what requesting up means. Does that mean like to join? You want to have another guest?
No problem with me. The more the merrier.
Yeah, sure. I have no idea what to do. How do I do?
More perspective.
I'll have 2 other people.
I don't know how to do it, so that would be stupid.
I've got it all sorted.
Yeah, that's good.
Hello.
Yeah. It's been 40 minutes. I know what I'm doing.
I thought it'd be easier to just come on here and explain what I was meaning.
It's our first time, so don't mind us. We're just
no problem at all. So I had heard you say that you have a baseline pain level, which I also have. I have ankylosing spondylitis. And then my husband was actually injured in a workplace accident and had his back broken, and he was paralyzed from the waist down. He's been in recovery for 3 years now. And so both of us always have a baseline pain level that never stops, you know? And then I find that when you throw the overstimulation on top of it from, like, let's say the pressure of children and life, money, family, it really can push you over that edge.
Yes.
And so that's why I was saying
Yes.
maybe like I have to really watch, because I'm so used to my pain that I can get to the point of pain where I basically just throw myself on my bed and I just like bawl my head off, and I can barely function. And I have to really watch that I don't allow myself to be pushed over that ledge. But you get so used to pain that easily happens to us, I
Yes.
find.
Because you live in right at the red zone. You're right at the
Yeah.
edge of that yellow zone, and then because I that was my last video the other day, because I talk about ego. I talk about ego. Maybe it's because I'm a guy or something. I'm not sure if it's the same for everybody else, but for me, like, I didn't want to be sick. I didn't want to be injured, and I didn't want to have deficits, and I didn't want to say no to doing tasks and jobs and cricket, blank, insert everything. Being a dad, all the aspects of being a dad. What's that?
It's not a guy thing. I feel the same.
Well, it's that ego, and it's like, once, like my wife would say, go have a rest, because she could see it on my face, right? Like,
Oh yeah, for sure.
and she's like, go have a rest, because all the kids something tonight, or whatever we're gonna go, and I fought it for like a year, because it made me feel weak, because I never had to rest, and I feel weak to have to rest now. But it's like trading quantity for quality. Like, I could be better as a dad if I would rest, even if I gave up a half an hour of time
Yes.
with my kids, but I would have a way better 3 hours later than have a crappy 4 hours. So this is year 5, I guess. So I lived right there, right at the red zone or in the red zone, always crashing, always exhausted, mediocre at everything, because I just felt like I failed at everything. Best I could do was half-ass almost everything. And then it's like simplifying life. And then once you kind of get closer to the yellow-green at the bottom, you can handle those days where, like, maybe it's really humid outside or really sunny, or, it's a lot of people with bone problems when it's humid, or for me, it's really sunny. It's like, I can take a couple of points up and manage that day a lot better if I don't live, at the top of that yellow. Maybe that's the ticket, is get further away from flopping on your bed.
And I really have to watch myself, though, because I'm so used to living with that pain that if I notice that things are getting out of control, I really have to, even though I don't like taking meds, I have to take my meds. And for my husband, he has to take meds daily. He has constant appointments, constant pain management specialists going through them and trying to figure out what to do for his nerve pain. Nerve pain is nearly impossible to deal with. And it's so exhausting on everybody involved in our family. And it's affected every part of our life. One thing that they talked about lots in the different groups that I was in is secondary losses. So like things like my husband not being able to ride bikes with my son anymore, or take him out and kick balls around with him, or play badminton with my daughter anymore. Those don't seem like huge losses, but to us, those are big things,
Those are the things that's what it's all about. It's not about the trips and the house and the job. It's about the little moments, the everyday stuff. It's dinner. Sad you brought that up. I'm so sad you brought that up.
I know it is. It's super sad. it
Like,
affects us in huge ways.
I was like a really, really talented at math growing up. I tutored all the way through. I tutored when I was in college. I just like helped the guys in my class, and they did better. And the dean of the program came over and said, go get some work experience and come back and teach the math program. Like, they offered me a job at the college in Ottawa. And it's like always part of my dream growing up whatever was to be, help my kids. And, I always expected they'd be sharp at math. Now I can't add 2-digit numbers together. Where before I used to be able to do my groceries and I'd look around and I'd count everything up and I'd calculate it with tax and be within $1, like $187.44, and I'd be like within 50 cents. Now I'm like 27 and 35 and I'm like, no chance. Like it's just completely gone.
So your
And if
mind
I
is
can't be that with, what's that? It's like I can't be that with
slower
my kid.
then.
Yeah, but it doesn't work. It's like it's broken, and it's like that dream, like you say with the bike riding. It's like that was something I dreamt about that since I was in my teens, and it's like it's gone. And I have 4 kids going up through school now that I'm not going to be able to help once they hit like grade 9. It's nobody.
I can't help their homework. It's like I lost everything I learned. I lost. I'm like, how do I not remember this?
And then you feel so stupid, don't you? Like
Well,
that's a
it's that
perfect
trauma. It's that trauma effect on the brain that it's just all encompassing. It really affects every part of your life after. Like I heard you saying earlier about how you're a little more of a helicopter parent. I'm very much more that. Like to the point of where I almost embarrassed my sister when we go to the beach together or something because I'm so worried about my kids all the time now since my husband's injury. And it's a different life after trauma than the life before.
Well, that's one thing that I kind of come along
Like
and
my kids are like, Mom, I'm fine, I'm safe. You don't have to message me. I'm like, message me when you get there. Message me. They're like, Mom, nothing's gonna happen to me.
yeah, it's like an anxiety.
When I drive my
Yeah.
because I'm afraid what happened can happen. And they're like, Mom, we're fine. But I know I drive them nuts. But they will appease me by saying, Mom, I'm okay. But I know they're very, very annoyed with how overprotective I am.
Yep, 100%. For me, I noticed along the way is that like when I was a kid, I was like a dreamer. Like when I was 15, like I came from a rough childhood, so I wanted to do better, right? But when I was like grade 10 or so, around 15, all the kids, they got an elective in high school and took gym, phys ed, and I took drafting so I could draw dream homes for my kids so that one day way down the road I'd be able to draw dream homes. So I started sketching floor plans. I got hundreds of floor plans. And just as an example, and I was always like an optimistic, forward thinking, well, who am I going to marry? What's it going to be like? How many kids will I have? Where will I live? What will I do for work? And like I said, I've had 40 jobs, something like that. And I went to college and university and trade school, and I took the real estate exam. I've been nursing. I've been a firefighter. I did all these things. I lived in the future. And when I was young, in my 20s, the guys, like my friends, they'd go to Florida and go drinking or do whatever. And it's like, hey, you want to comment? I'm like, no, it's time. Like that's money that I can make, and then I can invest that or buy an apartment building or, and I lived in the future.
I'm going to stay home and I'm going to
I never went on a vacation or nothing because I just I was always so focused forward. And then it was like, bang, you have an accident one day. And then life becomes 2 separate lives. You're 2 totally different people. That To Root and to Rise book talks about that, the Linktree book there, it's in there. And she talks about pre-accident Carol and post-accident Carol being 2 different people. And it's like I think trauma, it doesn't have to be car accident, just trauma period. I would think like SA things or stuff like that too would, like a life-changing trauma, would put people in a spot where it was before and after. And then it's like I found myself, people would say something, I was like, oh, I'd be able to do that before my accident. Now I'm like referring backwards for the first time in my life because I was like just a wild dreamer. I was like way out there, lateral thinker, forward thinker, and it's like no off switch. And then all of a sudden I'm like the guy with the barbecue stain on his shirt watching the NFL being like, what a bum. When I was in grade 10, I was a quarterback, Now I'm that guy. Like, oh man, before I took the memory,
I used to be a cheerleader, like I was up in the pyramid. Now I can't do one cheerleading move.
Yeah.
And they're like, Mom, there's no way you were a cheerleader. I'm like, I was. Back in the day. And that's what really frustrates me. I could still be cheerleading right now. but I can't do one move because my body won't let me.
And like you say, with those secondary losses, you're not cheerleading coach mom, Like I played soccer. I wanted to coach the soccer team. I coached the soccer team in high school of young kids. So I always thought, I'll coach my kids, Then my kid played baseball last year. It's like, there's no chance I could be in the sun for an hour like that and manage a bunch of children and they screaming and chaos and activities. And I'd be dead till next baseball. Yeah.
And for us, for my personal experience, it's like even just how far can we walk that day? For my husband, like, can he make it for 15 minutes? Do we have to bring the wheelchair? How much pain is he going to be in after the event? Like that's what our whole life is kind of based around now. And
I say it all the
it's
time.
totally different than the freedom we had before. Totally different.
Life now is energy management, resource management. That's it. That's all it becomes. You're like a slave to the energy, the resource, mental resources. Like I'll go to town because we're 15 minutes from town, and there's the groceries, and maybe I got to get dog food, and I'm like, and the wife will be like, I'll say whatever. I got to go. I'll get whatever else too, and she's like, well, you're already making 2 stops. I go to the hardware store, And she's like, you're already making 2 stops, why don't you? And so now, instead of being like an adult and making 3 stops in town that's 20 minutes away, I have to break it up to 2 stops and go the next day, rest. It's like efficiency of living is like through the toilet.
Yeah.
That's a piece.
I'm glad I'm not the only one.
I think we're all like
the only
that.
one going through.
I think we're all like that,
Nope,
and I don't think that's one
definitely.
of these things that nobody talks about. Energy management. It's like I said. It's like if I was very poor and I have $5 in my hand and that's it, but I got to pay the fiddler in 10 places. It's like I can't do it all, and ego crushes me because I want to pay all my bills, but I can't. So what do I do? Today I got 1 bill I can pay. Who's you? Okay, I'm gonna go get groceries because I can't do anything else. Tomorrow maybe I'll get dog food. Sorry, dog. It's like it's like you have to stop your ego to accept that that's how it is, and then we're gonna crush your self-esteem every day because you're gonna feel like you're useless all the time, over and
See,
over.
for myself, because of my ankylosing spondylitis, it's been something that I've had an affliction since I was a teenager. So for myself, I am kind of used to having to pace myself, whereas for my husband, it was a whole new ball game. And now we're both playing it, and it's hard when energy conservation is a big part of your everyday like that.
Yes, because even the energy conserving is exhausting.
It is.
Managing my life and breaking it up and a to-do list and a reminders app and packing snacks. It's like,
oh my gosh, the reminders that I have, and that's the other thing too. I really noticed since his injury, the trauma effect on my brain. It almost like scrambled me, and I have ADHD on top of it as well. So it like scrambled my brain so that I had a hard time. Like before the accident, I was making my own money, doing my own thing, running my own business, like just working my butt off, chasing kids around and able to handle things. And after the accident, it's so hard to think of one thing at a time. I just run in all directions thinking of all the things I need to do, but it's hard to get anything done that way,
Yeah. And then this was a struggle for me because I do a lot of thought experiments, and I thought depression, it's a leading cause of depression in men is retirement, because they kind of go from being the guy, the manager, people call, you fix problems, you whatever, you're needed. At the end of Rambo 1, he talks about that, how he could, over there you could fly a helicopter, and over here you can't even get a job pumping gas. And it's like this purposelessness is depressing. And that's what I said that for the first 3 years. It's like, how do I put my head on the pillow and think that I can tell my kids, like, Dad did a good job today. It's like I didn't do anything. I stayed on the couch for 7 hours. It's like, it's hard to find purpose in that.
They are understanding
I know, but I'm not.
We
You
don't
know,
feel
you're not
that
proud
way.
of yourself. You know what I mean? And that's a
No, you're
hard pill to
not.
swallow.
Yeah.
That's
Because
why
like
I'm
I
here.
have to go do my chicken, and I have to walk. It's about from my house, farmhouse to the chicken coop is maybe a block.
Yeah,
Some days I can't even make it there. I breathe. I start having trouble breathing, and I have to
yes,
sit there for a minute.
yeah, yeah.
It's
I saw a
embarrassing,
thing.
and I told my son,
Yeah,
so then I have to rely on my boys to do the chickens because I can't breathe walking a block.
I saw a thing that said, I forget where it was from, but it said 70% of the calories you burn is your mind. Your brain burns 70% of the calories. So if you're eating like X amount per day, 2,000 calories, 70% goes to your brain. Yeah. That's why you're so exhausted. Like imagine, send me a picture or video in 4K. It'll take 10 minutes to upload. Okay, so you're talking pixels per inch. Like when we were kids, it was like 8-bit. Nintendo was like 8 squares. You could see them 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 by 8. 4K is 4,000 dots by 4,000 dots. Your eyes see in something. It's like 78K or something, like 78,000 blocks it's like that kind of detail. Everything you do, and you're moving, and everything's in motion, and depth perception, and then go driving. Now you're doing 100 kilometers an hour, and everything's moving, the trees and the wind and the. It's like there's so much information. It's like, and then you got to think 80% of your body heat comes from muscle contraction. So there goes a whole pile of calories just moving to keep your body temperature up. And it's like, so the 70% goes to thinking, 80% of what's left goes to keeping warm. That leaves this little wee bit at the top. And you can go shovel 5 tons of gravel with that little bit. So how much is getting burned by your brain? And then you go whack it with a car and then think, well, you know, I wonder why I'm tired all the time. It's like, because 1,700 calories went out the window
Yeah.
trying to stay alive. It's crazy.
Calories, physical activity. I didn't know that your brain burns calories.
100%.
I'm so dead.
It's all of your calories.
I feel stupid. I didn't.
No, I know. I found out like a couple of months ago. I forget where it was. It was in some paper somewhere. It's like,
I think that's why my biggest thing that I promote since my husband's trauma is creation.
mm,
Creation is the opposite switch for anxiety. So when you're having anxiety, one of the best things you can do is create. So if you're creating content on TikTok, you like if you're creating artwork. I like to redo furniture. I like to paint. I really try and keep that creative thing going. I find that that calms my brain and just switches off that anxiety that I live on a baseline of since the accident.
yeah.
And so things like this, I like to go on and speak on them and talk to people and share that experience because creation has been the main thing that has helped me with my anxiety. And I'm not perfect, I still have it, but it helps me switch off in my brain to get myself back down to that base level again.
hmm There's another part of that too. What was that?
She's so right about the creation.
Yep, yep,
The creation thing really gets your mind off of it. And
yep,
it's kind of like a healing thing.
yep.
Because that's like I wrote my own book about my trauma. And I didn't write it to be famous or anything. I wrote it as a personal healing process. And like you, it got me out of my scrambled brain and I got to
hmm
focus and I felt normal,
Yes.
Yes.
you know?
I do that same thing. I actually have used a few different AI apps to make the story of my husband's trauma.
hmm
I've used different ChatGPT to write books about it or to help me figure out ideas for TikToks, for information, for different things that I'm interested in. I just find that creation really helps with the anxiety. And over time, it's been 3 years now, but over time, it's getting better little by little. I'm starting to feel more like myself just in the last few months.
Yep.
I'm on, this is in June, it'll be 28 years for me. And like, that's a really, really, really long time. And I'm still struggling to this day. Not as bad as like before, but it's
I
still,
also
it's going to be a life.
therapy though. I have my kids in therapy. My husband goes to therapy. We are very much involved in trying to heal our family, very much involved. And it's taken a lot, like it's a full-time job, really, to try and heal our
Yes.
family.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. It takes
I
a
see
ton
my
of.
therapist every single month, and she's been a godsend to me. I love that woman so much. I don't know where I'd be without my therapist, honestly.
Um,
She's the best.
you said about the creating thing. There's a book, like I said, it's in my Linktree store. You can find it on Audible. I had to do an Audible. It comes with a workbook if you get it on Audible or Amazon or whatever. I think it's like $12. I recommended it to everybody. I read it and it changed my life. It's called To Root and to Rise. It's by Carol Starr. She's got a master's degree, got in an accident, very similar to mine, passenger side impact, and she talks about a lot of this. This is the pre-accident, post-accident stuff, and like you were saying, um, she went through a lot of what we're talking about, which I feel like it's not a book for people to read the first week, but after you've struggled for a little while, like maybe after a year, kind of thing, a year or more, and she talked about the same thing, and she said, like, because she was bitter about not being able to whatever be a professor or whatever she was, and she said the more I started to embrace new Carol, so like my kid, I can't do art at all. I don't have that, and I used to cook, and now I can't cook, and so because I burn everything now because I can't multitask and don't focus, and so the kids left their paints out, and I just painted a picture one day, and it's like not bad, like it's not amazing, but it's not bad. It's easily the best thing I've ever painted after my accident, right? And like in my life, it was
Well, and
after
it's
my
more the process. It's not even what you create. It's just that process of
yeah.
creating something that
Well,
switches your brain off the anxiety and
yeah,
makes a big difference.
yeah, but it was like the first time something new had happened since my accident. And so I framed it and I stuck it on the wall right by the door so I see it every day. And it was like gave me hope that I could learn something new. And that's what she says. She said the more I began to embrace post accident Carol and what post accident Carol can still do or new things that she could do, she goes, I started to take my accolades off the wall and put them in a box. And she said, and I embraced that post accident Carol some more. And she goes, now that box is in my attic that I don't feel the need to open anymore. And it was just like saying goodbye to that old life because you chose to find remaining skills or find new skills. So it's exactly what you're saying. It's like separately from anxiety management, it's also like teaching an old dog a new trick, because once you're broken from an
Yeah.
accident you think it's over. And that realization took my accident from being a dead end where all my plans died and I lost the ability to dream and I wasn't going to be the dad that I expected and wanted to be, and it turned it into from a dead end to a detour. And now it's like life didn't end, life's not over. It's just going over here now. And it's like I said, if
Yeah.
retirement's going to come for most men, most people, they're going to lose purpose. That's like a volunteer choice where your life is going to be going one way. You're important at work, and all of a sudden it's not. You're just like sitting at home every day with nothing to do. But that change is totally fine. But just because somebody hit me with a car and it happened, 30 years early, all of a sudden it's going to be a big. It's like they're the same.
Yeah.
Life took a huge detour, like it or not, choice or not. The semantics of it don't really matter. It changed, period. So what are you going to do about it? It's like I'm not an excuses guy. I'm much more of a David Goggins. I'm not one of these coddle you. I'm like put your bootstraps, get out of the well, let's go. So it's
I
like
just want to say
Yeah.
just
go
something
ahead.
about that before I've got to go because my daughter has student-led
Yeah, that's fine.
conferences tonight. But I just wanted to say one more thing in regards to that. Um, the bootstraps thing. I don't believe that we need to have pain to have gain. I think that that is a very Western ideal. We all tend to, the first thing we ask people when we meet them is, what do you do for a living? And like in Eastern culture, you're not about what you do. You're
I've
more
always
about
hated
who
that
you
too.
are.
Yep. Yep.
And
Sure.
so that's the principle I try to live by at this
Yep.
point in my life. And I try to think of different things to ask people, like, what is your
Mhm.
passion that you're interested in today?
Mhm.
Are you creating anything? Instead of asking people what they do. Um,
Yeah, that's always
so
bothered me too. I've said I could go to the Dominican, Haiti, and build orphanages, and people would have no idea because they look down. Like I used to drive truck at one point because I had left nursing and I drove truck for a while to pay off my student loans. And that's people say, "What do you do?" And I'm like, "Well, I drive truck." And they're like, "It's like you don't have anything. Like I could be the nicest human being on the planet, but you don't like my job, so." You look down your nose at me. It's like that's always bothered me. I didn't mean it like in a no pain no gain. I see it more like um, energy management. And if I'm going to spend a half an hour with excuses or complaining or why me, it's like that's a half an hour of energy I could have used to try to improve something else. It's like redirect it to something positive. Like
yeah,
I don't make, and this, but the problem too is that little voice. You see a lot on TikTok. You see some guy crying in his videos, and you open the thing, it's 50 videos of he's just trying to get clicks. But it's like once that little voice starts, the more you listen to it, the louder it gets. It's the whole which wolf, the one you feed. It's like the wolf or the dark wolf.
and
It's
I
like
was
it's
gonna say the
you know,
cooking thing. I
yeah.
burnt so much food since my husband's trauma. It's
I can't
just the
cook anything.
weirdest thing. I just went from being able to cook like a chef to being able to burn everything I touched. Like it was terrible. It got to the point of where I was just throwing my hands up and like I don't want to cook anymore. And
Mm,
even that is starting to get better,
yeah,
but that is even a big one, a secondary loss from a trauma where it just feels like your brain is scrambled after. And
yeah.
so, anyways, that was the last thing I wanted to say. And thank you for having me
Thanks for
on. I
coming.
have
Yeah,
to go.
appreciate it. Appreciate it, Amanda. Thank you.
Me.
That was great. All right.
Have
Well,
a
that
good
was
night.
cool. So, what do you think? Are we good? I got no
Yeah.
subscribers or flowers. Unpopular. We'll try again next time. I don't even know what they are.
I'm so noob at this, I don't even know how to hang up.
I'm not sure either. All
I
right.
don't.
It's all good. I think, are you, looks like left. Okay. Anything left you want to talk about, or what do you want to do? I think we're probably pretty good, eh?
I think we
What's
had a
that?
good session.
Yeah, we can always do this
I think
again
we
if
had.
everybody liked it. Yeah.
I learned new things.
Yeah, very good. I can
I'm
explain
not too
Botox.
stuff. I just want to help people.
Yeah, 100%. The thing is up there. They keep scrolling like I don't. They're distracting me. I don't know what they are. I feel like it says get 5 stars. Hey, I got one. Look at me go. I felt there you go. I got 5. I'm hoping if I get. Hey, live goal achieved. We can all go to bed. I thought if I got the 5, it would leave me alone because between the comments and it's like, oh my god, I'm sweating just trying to keep up with all this stuff on the screen. Thanks, Amanda. I appreciate it. I appreciate everybody coming. I make videos every day. Danielle's got her channel too. I think she's linked in some of the stuff, at least the
Live goal
videos.
for you.
Look at that.
Did you see that? Live
Yeah.
goal achieved. Corner.
It said I was at 80%. Amanda pushed me all the way to 100. Appreciate it, Amanda. I don't even know what those are, but oh, you got some too. You got some too. Look at that. We're like,
I just saw it.
I don't have a clue. I don't even know how to send you
That's
something.
awesome.
Is it a gift? Send.
Thank you.
Okay. Feel
That's
free,
awesome.
feel free, guys. Whoever's left or watching or whatever. I don't think these get saved, so feel free to comment on the videos I post every day.
I have no idea if they get saved on it.
Yeah,
No
I
idea.
hope so. It'd be nice
You
to
know more than
archive it. I have no idea. I have no idea. We'll see. Okay. I'm not sure who's left, but I really
this is my
appreciate it.
first live, so I don't have a clue.
Yeah. We'll fumble through and figure it out. That's what we do. But I'm grateful for everyone that came. Thanks, Danielle, for coming and sharing your story and being vulnerable. I know it's not easy.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, we'll have to do it again
Thank you for
sometime.
having me.
Maybe we'll just end up co-hosting and we'll just
Yeah.
get a third person. It's easier when there's someone to talk to.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, you're right.
You know.
And then we get more info in there too.
Yeah, well, that's it. That's it. And like I said, it's nice to have somebody else who can talk. And I don't, it's a lot of pressure trying to keep up and keep track. And I hope everybody enjoyed it. Feel free to comment on one of the videos that I put up a couple with blue font that had said something about going live. So if you had critiques or comments or feedback, whatever, it's always welcome. So I guess that's good, eh? Yeah. Thanks a lot, Danielle.
Sounds good.
Appreciate it. I'll see you around.
Yep.
Okay. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, Steve.
Okay, take care, guys.
Yeah. Bye, everybody. Have a good night.
Check out Danielle. Yeah? All right, guys.